no, basically, no. Don Corleone is like an amazing performance by Marlon Brando. Okay, by Marlon Brando,
Yeah.
but Tony Montana is just a crazier
Iconic.
character, much an iconic character. Which is why it's
Yeah.
like,
But I think Don Corleone is iconic as well.
Oh no, he is.
no,
Obviously, he
no.
is.
He's not
But
just that. Basically, in terms of a character that is like this character is wild. Like you can't forget. You can't forget about the character. It's Tony Montana. Like you see, from I say Pacino's best performances are Serpico, Godfather 1, Godfather 2. Those are his best performances. But he's not created a character as crazy, as popular, as endearing as Tony
When
Montana.
I say Don Corleone, I'm talking about Marlon Brando, not
Oh, De Niro.
Pacino.
No, I'm talking about when he's old. He starts at his daughter's wedding. That Godfather.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. But see, for me, that's an amazing acting performance, which I say it's one of the best acting performances. But in terms of a character, I'm like, man, like Tony Montana is a crazy character. It's crazy. All right, guys. So look, man, we're having a film convo. Before then, so we just thought we're going to carry it on. So it's what it is. So we are on a tight schedule because Real Madrid are trying to win this whole La Liga thing at the top of the hour, and the world is behind Crystal Palace. The world is behind Palace, who hopefully can do the Lord's work and take down United, man. So Roy Hodgson, man, do your black brother, do your fellow black brother a solid man. So. We have questions again. Thank you guys for the questions being sent and so forth. We appreciate. And remember, guys, if you want to support the Football Dugout, be part of the Football Dugout family. Remember to think that the patreon.com/Football Dugout. So, without further ado, let's go for our first question. So, first question is, I can't even read what the heck that says. Let me actually. There you go. So. First question is, HH, who is your most overrated player in the Premier League? It has to be 20 years and up. Mine is easily Maguire, Chilwell. They're both on. Oh, it's okay. Aha, I missed that point in Premier League. They're both ordinary players. It's because they're English and money fans hype him up. He's slow. Isn't this the same guy who gets done over? You see, I'll need to think about this. And I'm sure Nix will strongly disagree because I'm sure Nix wants to defend his captain. But you see, from my point of view, Chilwell, I don't think so. Maguire is definitely up there. But you see, I think Nix, maybe Nix was good, but I think a lot of it is our United guys because Greenwood is cool. I think Maguire is up there. You've got to say Rashford is up there. Remember, overrated doesn't mean you're crap. It just means that you're not as good as people say you are. So probably those two. And you know what? I'll be fair. Harry Kane. For me, I just say Harry Kane is most overrated. Like, I remember, guys, this doesn't mean he's trash. It just means that based on how people like England view him as Jesus Christ's like. I think English media say that he's the epitome of Jesus Christ. He's like the second coming of Jesus, which he isn't. He's just a guy who scores a lot of goals in the Premier League, but can't do so in the Champions League or in an FA Cup semi or final. So for me, it's a Harry Kane. Devil.
Yeah. To go on Maguire, I think Maguire is overrated, but I think that's mainly and only due to his price tag. If Maguire went for 35 million, no one would overrate him in terms of they wouldn't expect as much from him. But because he was as much money, 80 million or whatever he was, therefore people are expecting him to be the best defender in the world. He's never been the best defender in the world. He will never be the best defender in the world. So I think therefore people overrate him purely because he costs so much money. I'm going to put one out there that I think could be a bit controversial. And again, I like to say what Double H said. I think it's not that I don't think he's a good player. I just think people overrate him. And that's James Maddison. I think James Maddison is a very, very good footballer. But the way some people talk about him is like he's one of the best number 10s in the league. He's a game changer and all this stuff. But when you actually look at it, he doesn't influence that many games. And he's got a good cast around him in Vardy, Tielemans, Pires, Barnes, Gray. He's got some good players around him. But he doesn't take the game by the scruff of the neck enough for him to be in the kind of conversations that I've heard people talking about him. Again, good player, a lot of potential, but I don't think he is. People saying that he's in there.
Wait, David, do you co-sign this comment by my man here?
Anyone playing at Arsenal is overrated. We probably do have some overrated players. I'm sure some people will say Aubameyang, but then you just look at what he's there to do, and as a striker, and it's the same with Kane. Kane does his job. He does his job very, very well. He scores goals. That's what he's there to do. He scores more than 95% of other strikers in the league, and Aubameyang's the same. So they can't be overrated. But there probably are some Arsenal players that are massively overrated. I think when Martinelli was doing his thing, people were saying he's generational and all this stuff. It's like, hold on a minute. He's played 7 games. So yeah, Arsenal fans do hype up their players, but all fans are guilty of doing that. But yeah, I'm going to say Maddison for me.
Leaks.
First and foremost,
I didn't crack a joke, but
first shout out Abbas Young. Yeah, I'm watching the cricket as we're doing this show actually.
What?
So if you hear me,
no. So we're doing a football show.
That is blasphemous. Kick him
Do you know how unprofessional that is? We're doing a football show as one of the members of a football panel, football analytical critic show is watching cricket. My God in heaven.
Where's Javon?
So if you should hear me shout out, Allah, that's from the cricket. First and foremost, Chilwell is possibly overrated, possibly in terms of the question. Maguire, I don't know if Maguire's overrated. You go online and type in Maguire and tell me how many positive comments you see on Maguire. Who is it that this person thinks is overrated Maguire? Because I don't see anybody rating Maguire, which for me is wrong because he's not a bad defender. Now he's not worth £80 million. We know that.
Speak on it. Wait. Say again. For the kids back. He's not worth what? He's not worth what?
I'm not repeating what I said. You heard me.
I have waxed my ears.
Well, watch it back when I
waxed my ears. Like because of COVID, I can't go to my wax removal person. Just one more time. I'll go wax my ears. Just one more time, so I know. Please
watch it back.
He's not worth what?
Watch it back on the playback. But he went for 80 million because and the price of a player is set by a lot of different stuff. It's how important he is to the team that he's coming from, which first sets their value. How desperate the buying team is for that player, and then you got things like nationality, etc. All of those elements come into it. So Maguire's 80 million. When he was bought for 80 million, everybody knew he wasn't worth 80 million because Van Dijk went for 75 million, and they knew he wasn't 5 million better than even the Van Dijk that they bought a year or so before. Everyone said it's probably around a 50-60 million defender in the market. So I don't know who is actually overrating Maguire. A lot of people don't rate him at all. I think the easy answer really is every Chelsea player by Chelsea fans. Chelsea overrate every single one of the players. If you were to believe Chelsea fans and on their football knowledge, and I can use that in quotes, they should be top of the league. They've got generational talents in every position until they actually get onto the pitch and we actually see it. It's ridiculous. And half of the generational talents, and again, I can put that in quotes, don't even get onto the pitch. So Chelsea fans overrate their players to such a level and then they make excuses, Loftus-Cheek, when they don't perform. So the easy answer is every Chelsea player by Chelsea fans. But I think Roberto Firmino is probably the most overrated. Now, Roberto Firmino is a good player.
Doesn't do his job.
He
does
down.
His job pretty well. And
I love it.
who rates Firmino super high? Nobody ever says he's the best.
No. I mean, come on, guys.
In that role.
He is by far the best box-to-box striker in the world.
Exactly.
No one else does that.
Exactly. They've created a term just to make him world class. They've created a new position, a new role, a new job, just to say he is the best at that. He's the only one who does it. And the reason why he's the only one who does it, because no other striker wants to do that job. Who wants to have 90 shots, 100 shots and only score 8 goals? Who wants to most?
Whoa, easy.
No, it's
Easy
fact.
leaks. Liverpool fans are very violent. They're very emotional,
And they're
they were
very,
hunting down, and I think they were behind the Twitter hack as well. So carry on.
they're very sensitive at the moment as well.
Who wants to miss the most clear-cut chances, I believe it is, in the league? Who wants to do that as a striker? And he is a striker. Don't get it twisted. He has 100 shots this season. He's a striker. He scored less goals than Lacazette. I've called Lacazette like a threat. So it'll be only right that if we're calling Firmino world class, which a lot of people do.
Firmino is a new type of striker. He's a new.
He's the only type of striker, because I believe there's a number of players who could improve that Liverpool team in that position, i.e., do the job that Firmino does in terms of the pressing, etc., but actually scored some goals with it. But because he doesn't score the goals, people say, well, he's not there for the goals. Yeah, he's there for the goals. He's there for the goals.
From Josh Beston, thanks for the super chat, who says, leaks, you mean? Leaks. LL said, no, leaks.
No.
HH said, United's 99 isn't the GOAT. Hashtag stop the hate. Now, we don't want to get derailed here, but I said, as far as let me land. The guy called me LL. The guy called me LL. Let me land. All I said was that the only two teams for me in contention with greatest ever single Premier League season are the Invincibles and the Centurions. That's it. Liverpool could have been in the conversation, but they decided just to break it against Arsenal. So it's the Centurions and Invincibles have had it. That is the only conversation we're having in terms of the best teams in a single Premier League season, based primarily on the Premier League, not what you did in the Champions League or what you did in the, just one in the Premier League. It's the Invincibles or the Centurions.
That argument is stupid anyway, because the season isn't just the Premier League. You start in August and you play 4 competitions, so it's all encompassing. So it's you can also can admittedly say, for example, oh, this team had they're the best FA Cup team because they won all the FA Cup games and they got relegated. Oh, Wigan. No, were Wigan the best team to win the FA Cup? No, they weren't. Just because they won it, and maybe, I don't know, maybe let's say they conceded the least amount of goals on the run. You can isolate a competition if you want, but no.
Because we've got questions because we'll be here for a while. We'll be here for a while. So let's just move on.
The super chat was directed at me. Now, unless Have Hope is put in, the only team that for me Have Hope can put above that 99 team is the Man United 08 team, and I don't think he's done. So hold your LL.
Devil, to your thingy, because I want to know whether we can just say this towards the end. So, Real, has any thoughts on Claude comments? So, were any Claude questions in the questions?
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, there was one.
There was one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Real Deal, we'll obviously address this when we get towards it. So, thank you for that question, Mr. Sam. From Hanad Abdallah, lovely avatar. I believe that's that, isn't it? Who will you take in their prime, Salah or Robin? Robin.
See.
Oh
no! You know what? It's not as straightforward.
No. Do you know what I hate? This is the thing that just hates me. When a question is so easy and you know what the answer is, there's always that one person like, I know what the answer is. It could be really cool where we like to Robin, but let me just mess things up for everyone and just try and be really different.
That's not what this is. No, because it's not as straightforward as that. Because remember, the prime. The question says in their prime. In their prime. So Salah in his prime, which would have been probably the first 2 years at Liverpool, what he's done, or even up to now, what he's done in the Premier League is ridiculous. I think it's something like 104 games and he's got 102 goal contributions. For what he's in the team to do, that is a ridiculous amount of goals and assists. And I think, I'm not necessarily going to say that I would pick Salah over Robin, but I don't think it's a straightforward Robin. Do you know what I mean? I think Robin in his prime, obviously world class. We all know about him and what he did at Bayern and for Holland. And I think if Salah played for a European country that was challenging for European honours and things like that, possibly people would look at him differently. But because he's Egyptian and he won't have those international accolades in terms of, oh, he did this at the World Cup for Holland, like how Robin did it in World Cups previous, I think it's kind of unfair because you can't really go on that same level. So I have to take it on what they've done for their clubs in their prime. And what Salah's done for his club in his prime it's up there. You have to be real. It's up there. So I don't think it's a straightforward thing. Just say Robin. That's all I'm saying. So if it came down to it, I don't know, man. I don't know. I might say Salah.
I'm very disappointed in you, man. Very, very disappointed, man. From Footy Wizard, thank you for the question, Footy Wizard. Best wingers to play in the Premier League, top 5. You see, with these things, it requires time to think. But off the top of my head, you have to have. Obviously, you have Giggs and Perez automatically already in there. 100% they're in there. See, the key question is this. Wingers, not inside forwards. Wingers. So guys who played it in the traditional winger place where your main thing is to get to the byline, produce a cross. So you have to have Giggs, could have Perez. Definitely not
Say Beckham then. Say Beckham.
Beckham wasn't a winger.
Wait, what was he? He was a right midfielder.
He is a right midfielder. He wasn't a winger.
Oh,
even if this guy invented the word winger, and Oxford Dictionary said hereby winger was derived by David Beckham Esquire, I still ain't putting that dude in there.
Say Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's got to be Cristiano Ronaldo.
Chris, just like Cristiano, Giggs, Perez, could you say I was going to say Sané, but didn't play enough games.
I don't think Sané done enough.
Bale. Gareth Bale.
Yes, Bale. Yes.
Gareth Bale's in there for sure. Now, see, I was going to say Hazard, but was Hazard a winger?
No, he wasn't a winger.
So,
wasn't a winger.
You know, just say Beckham. Say Beckham.
No. I refuse.
Damien Duff.
Yeah, Damien Duff was cold.
Actually, no. Duff was all right.
But
Duff, outplayed Robin.
Walcott? What?
Top 5, like Overmars is above Duff.
Someone say Walcott.
Wasn't Bale the left back in the Premier League? No.
He started.
You know what? I don't care what anyone says. I'm saying Sané.
No, it can't be Sané.
No, what?
I don't care. Well, I'm saying Sané. I'm not saying I'm putting Sané above Beckham. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. I can't think of a fifth one.
I'm putting Beckham as the 5th. That's it. Beckham as the 1st. Call it what you want.
Are you sick? Okay, here we go. So, So here it is, man. Let's deal with this. Let's get real. What are your thoughts? So thank you very much, Just Person, for your question. What are your thoughts on Claude getting banned from AFTV, Arsenal Fan TV, for you guys not to know? Did Robbie or Robert make the right decision? And should Troops have gotten banned as well for saying referees favor Kane because he is white? Reverse racism. Love the content, by the way. Keep it up. Just best, and thank you for that question. I don't approve of that, even if I do love Cristiano. Let me, because I know a lot of guys will want a lot to say. So let me just have my say on this. 100% based on what Claude said, he had to be at the very least, indefinitely banned and so forth. Because I think basically, so the thing, in case you don't know, Son was subbed off during the Arsenal Tottenham game, and then Claude said, DVD has come off. Guys that don't know, and I think it was someone that told me that, like, apparently whenever you're like in barbershops or places, I think mostly Asian guys will come and be selling DVDs and say, DVD. So again, it's a stereotypical term used to just denote all people of Asian origin. So that is why it is still a derogatory, prejudiced term. So, and my thing is, the first apology that Claude came out with, it was nonsense, but it was not like that. Was like, I mean, come on, guys! Like, they were sitting down, he was half laughing. Robbie was even half laughing himself and everything. But then Claude then released one on his personal Twitter thing, and it seemed as if he maybe understood better what he had done. And my thing about it is that, if you do fully apologize and so forth, surely you should. Because again, it's like, because see, the second apology seemed a lot more genuine than the first one. Because people say, "Oh no, he didn't apologize." It's also hard to say, can anyone be genuine or not? It's like when Cannibal Suarez did his apology when he was being interviewed by a dude where he wasn't even facing the dude when he said his stuff. So that was just a crap apology. But I think the second one that Claude did was a lot more sincere. He understood it. I think if he understood it and he's fully sorry, surely he can come back. I mean, is it a case of where you can never apologize, so you're dead and you're cancelled forever, which is what they try to do with poets, with that whole poets and Vooch thing. And to the whole thing with troops. Now, this is where things will maybe get a bit controversial here. This is that. So Troops said, I think so. Said, they're not going to do anything to Kane because he's white. And this is my thing, and people will call me crazy and so forth. Is any white person truly pained, truly hurt, truly attacked, has sleepless nights, and is truly pained by what Troops said? Or are you just using that just for the sake of like, but he did it? That's what I'm saying. Because again, because we are short on time, we don't really have a long time to go into the whole details of racism, but just a truncated thing is racism is really based on power and those within power and those without the power. It's actually rather than just words, it's much more of a systemic psychological paradigm. So the whole notion of reverse racism doesn't work because people just use that as a tool to try and suppress what actual racism is. So him saying because his white is like, is that really hurtful or harmful to any white person? Really? No, it's not. So come on. So for me, that isn't in the same place as what Claude said, based on, and I speak from experience, who went to a school in England where I heard some of the most shocking things said towards Asian people, and the kind of racism I saw against Asian people from white guys was shocking. Absolutely shocking. So, and I've experienced that of how white people have treated Asians from the school that I was in. So that's my take on it. Nix.
I think you put you kind of said most of what I'm kind of thinking on this. I don't think what Troops said cannot be racist if you understand what racism is. But what Troops said is basically he's accused. I say accused, or he's described the situation as Kane benefiting from white privilege. Now, he might be incorrect. The referee may or may not give him a yellow card or whatever it might be if he's white. I think the referee is going to do the job that he's been employed to do and give the decision based on what's happened on the field, regardless of skin color. So Troops might be wrong, but to ban him or even to make it or equal or to what Claude said is nonsense, because he didn't offend anyone. He maybe made an accusation which was incorrect, but he didn't offend anyone. What Troops what Claude said, whether he meant it or not, is offensive or can be deemed as offensive because the term is and has been used in an offensive way. So whether he meant it or not, the term itself carries that offensive nature. Whereas what Troops said, it can only ever be, well, you're either right, he has the privilege because he's white, or you're wrong, he has a privilege that he's white. It's as simple as that. So, and whether or not it's right to ban him, I mean, that's completely Robbie's decision. But I don't think he's wrong for it. And I don't think it's completely up to him, and he has to deal with the consequences either way of whatever decision he makes.
Yeah, you know what? You guys pretty much said everything that I was going to say. The only thing that I wanted to add to that is, in regard to Claude, the first apology should be the sincere apology. Once you put out an apology and it's not heartfelt and you're joking and things like that, the second one for me doesn't matter. Because you can't truly be sorry for what you said, because the first time you say sorry should be the only time you say sorry. You shouldn't say something like, oh no, but I missed a bit. Actually, do you know what I mean? It just kind of makes the whole thing. It makes it look like there's an agenda behind your apology, rather than sincerity.
Real quick. Okay, just again, you are right. That's a great angle you came from. But this, again, it's just me just throwing at another angle. What if it's a case of where you've said this thing many times before, and you've just lived within this whole thing of saying this words, and let's say you are if a full-on racist, and there is pressure to apologize right now today, but you've not really educated yourselves yet, but you're so under pressure to apologize. They've just grabbed you. Just apologize, but you've not really been given the time to apologize because they've wanted your apology so quick. So
yeah, I get that. I understand that. But then you have to look at like the people that are pressuring you to say the apology, because again, the only person who can truly apologize and be sorry for their actions is the person who's done or said what was said. So if I was Claude in that situation, I say, you know what, let me just take my time, because I want this to come across correctly. I want to say what I actually feel, and I want to put that out there. I don't want to just say whatever for the sake of it. But obviously, we're two different people. He's probably under a lot of pressure to put something out because, AFTV is a massive machine at the end of the day. They have responsibilities and they have certain ways of acting and coming across that probably played into the fact that he had to then make that apology so quick, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best decision. But I just think it's kind of damaging once you put out one apology which isn't sincere at all. By the time you come to do the second one, that's not sincere to me. I'm not going to listen to that and think, well, you're actually sorry. Because if you were actually sorry, there would only be one apology. Whether that takes 2-3 days to come, that's better than putting something out straight away just to appease people to then backtrack and try to do it again.
The thing is with the first one, I can't even call it an apology. It was he was trying to excuse himself. He was trying to
exactly.
Yeah. No, because it didn't say that. Oh, Lampard has sort of said, because he's trying to use some kind of weird examples of
about Spurs making DVDs, and I'm like, the context for what you're saying, whilst what you're saying isn't incorrect in terms of Lampard saying that, the context of how it related to the situation you were in at that moment, it doesn't add up. So it just sounds like you're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, basically. And that's what that video, the first video, was, and that's why they took it down.
It was a PR exercise,
and a poor one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I mean, if we have time, I want to get your thoughts about this whole AFTV thing, but that's if we have time. From Sammy, Benzema, Casemiro, Varane, and maybe a few more Real Madrid players. Pep, Wenger, Ancelotti, and Sir Alex, and all the great managers have never had a style of play named after them. So when you guys think don't you guys think it's dumb that people call Sarri style of play Sarri ball when he hasn't done that much in the game? Was it called a Wenger ball?
It was Wenger ball, first and foremost, yeah. Wenger did have a style of play named after him.
And also, was tiki-taka ever used before Pep?
No.
Yeah, so...
I mean, tiki-taka hasn't got his name attached to it, so people may say it's not necessarily named after him. But we all know that he created the style, or at least he was.
We don't know what he sort of refined it, because
he refined it.
He off of the Dutch team from the 70s.
Yeah. But yeah, Wenger had Wenger ball for many years. So I don't think Ancelotti. The thing is, most styles which are named after managers are named that way because they're exciting and it's fun to watch and stuff like that. Ancelotti, I think, has always been a bit more of a pragmatic coach when need be.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas Wenger was always, this is how we play.
That's the thing.
Pep was always, this is how we play. Ancelotti was like, right, we're going to play this way, but if we can't, defend. Do you know what I mean? He was that kind of way. So I don't think he had one particular style, is what I'm saying.
That's those managers. Yeah, it's all like, this is what we play to the death.
Yeah.
If you look at someone like Fergie, he didn't have one style of play. His style of play was winning.
Wait, so very quickly, what's it called? Gegenpress, Klopp. I think the whole thing of the Gegenpress that has been associated to Klopp. So maybe it's not Klopp ball, but that.
Yeah, but I'll say Fergie just changed depending on the situation. The way he played against Arsenal and Arsene Wenger was completely different to the way he played against the most
cheat.
Different to the way
dive.
I said cheat dive.
That's how he played against us. Cheat, dive, roll.
Wenger bought a bunch of these
as if they was on fire
and tried to bring tiki taka Barcelona to the big man Premier League. No, we will kick you. We will kick you. Get up. Get up, run.
Yeah, but then when we kick you, you dive and roll and.
Oh, listen, do it better, innit? So the ref don't
Cheat.
see.
Okay.
Sorry, by the way. Sorry.
All right. Let's hit this one from our dear friend Armchair Critic, who says, thank you for the question. Armchair Critic said Van Basten had won the Champions League, Euros, and 3 Ballon d'Ors at the age of 28. Does the what could have been an excuse need to be afforded to him like it is to R9? How do you guys rate him? For me, look, let's just be real. Please don't put Van Basten in the same sentence as R9 in terms of what could have been, because I think everyone says if R9 never got injured, you're looking at without a doubt the greatest football player of all time. Because what R9 was, that's why he was the phenomenon, and really he was. I would argue after Pele, he was the next actual superstar in terms of merchandising, sponsorships, adverts that football had. Like basically, like Nike literally pretty much gave everything to him and then put everything behind him during the late 90s. So, but I think if Van Basten had realized his full talent and so forth, he would have just have been seen as one of the great strikers of his generation. But he would never have been seen as one of the greatest players of all time, which is what R9 was. But yeah, I think, look, and I think even if Van Basten did really do more than what he obviously promised, he's known as scoring, in my opinion, probably one of the best volleys of all time in the Euros. And I think based on just what he's won and already, he's already put in a legacy. But if you would have asked him, like, yeah, I could have actually done a lot more to put my name, to cement my name a lot more next to, like, you want to call it George Weah, a flipping Henri, Robert, all those kinds of dudes, man. So yeah.
What?
What's that?
Wait, did you just say Van Basten?
What?
You said Van Basten would be in there with the likes of Drogba. What?
What?
I think you know what? I think what the problem is. Van Basten came too early. If Van Basten would have done what he did in his career 15 years later, everyone would talk about him as if he was one of the best strikers ever played the game. But because of the era that he played in, where not many people in this country got to see him play, that's why you don't hear much about him in this country. But if you go to Italy or if you go to Holland and then places and you talk about the greatest strikers to come and play in those leagues, Van Basten would be at the top of that list. 3 Ballon d'Ors, as we said, he won countless amount of trophies with AC Milan, won countless amount of trophies for AC Milan. And if it wasn't for the crippling injuries that he had, I think he had injuries in both knees, which meant that he had to retire at 28. We don't know what he could have done. But in terms of putting him next to R9, I will agree with HH on that. R9 was doing things at the age of 19, 20, 21 that were unseen at that level. If he never had how old was he when he got injured? It was early 20s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That knee injury.
Because he was 25 in 02. He was 21 at the 98 World Cup. So he was 22. Yeah, he was
22, 23 or something like that. So that is ridiculously young to miss so much football and then to still come back and do what he did in the game at that time. Because remember, in those times, we didn't have the kind of medical and scientific advancements that we have now. So when you got those kind of injuries as that boy, you might never play again. And that's the actual risk that you might not ever play again. So to come back and do what he did, it just shows the levels. So I think R9, when people talk about him and saying what could have been, that is the top of the pile, what could have been.
That's the thing. What R9 was doing, you said at 21, is what I know even to the same level, but we saw Van Basten to an extent in his peak in the terms of the age. I know because of the injuries, he maybe never hit the heights in terms of the talent that he had, but we saw much more, I think, of a career nearer the peak age than we did of R9. R9 after 2002, I mean, he was still a great striker, of course, but he wasn't the same. You saw, even when he banged that hat trick against Man United, like you saw the kind of weight that he had on, and yeah, he was always a bit of a stocky guy, but all those injuries and those kind of things, it takes a toll on you. So if you think about what he was doing at the age that he was doing without those injuries, he hadn't even hit his peak yet. And most players in their peak don't even do what R9 was doing when he was 21 years old. Yeah, most. It's probably a handful of players.
Which guys, are you listen.
It's probably a handful of players who, at their very, very peak, which often doesn't last very long, was doing what R9 was doing at 21. I'm talking about the history of football. So Van Basten, great, all-time great, without a doubt. But yeah, I would always have R9 above him.
Just so I think I missed the super chat in here. Said this was from Just Beston. I think this was his list of wingers. Cristiano 1, David Beckham 2, what the F? Perez 3, Bale 4, Zad 5. But Hazard was not a winger. Hazard was not a winger. All right. Moving on swiftly. Again, from Greg, thank you for the question. Top 4 predictions for the next season. So obviously, I assume this is the Premier League. When do you think we'll see a non-Liverpool City winner, and who will it most likely be? So, very early to say, Bob, if you're putting me on the spot, I would say for next season, I would say Man City to win, Liverpool second. I would then say Chelsea third, Man United fourth. I think that's what's top 4. And so actually, sorry. And when do you think we'll see a non-Liverpool? I would say probably in the next 3-4 seasons. I think Liverpool and City will have a tit for tat for the next 3-4 seasons. Maybe at the next 4th season, I would say, then you may have a non-Liverpool or City. But I don't think anyone apart from them will win it in the next 3 or 4 years. Leaks?
Yeah, I think that top 4 makes sense. I mean, this season's top 4 can have a big bearing on next season in terms of players, in terms of who you're going to buy, who's going to leave, etc. So it's so hard to say as it stands. And of course, we've got the summer in terms of which players might, which players clubs might buy, like Man City. We don't need strengthening in defense. What defenders are they going to get, etc., etc. But I think that top 4 makes sense. In terms of the next winners, I think I have to say Chelsea as it stands, because it's just what Chelsea do. Like Chelsea, since Abramovich came, they just win. They win stuff. So it makes sense. And out of all the teams, I think they are the last. Yeah, they are the last winners since Man City and Liverpool. So I think Chelsea makes sense, and Abramovich is always going to make footballing decisions that's going to help benefit the side, even if only in the short term. So yeah.
Yeah. In terms of top 4, I think you have the right teams for next season. Probably in the right order as well. Though you could possibly change Chelsea and United over, and no one would really see the difference. I think they're very close in terms of their development for next season. In terms of who's going to be the first team to, end that duopoly, I've got a feeling it's going to be United. I understand what Nick said, and I agree with what Nick said in terms of Abramovich. They win things, but I have a feeling, and there's no real logic behind this. It's just a feeling. I have a feeling that Man United will be the first team to go back. This might be 2-3 years down the line, and who knows what can happen by then. But with the pieces that they have in place, and the ability that they have to go and sign players when need be, I think United have a case. Because even if you think De Gea might not necessarily be at his peak anymore, Romero is a very good goalkeeper, and they've got Henderson in the squad as well, if they keep hold of him. So that's their goalkeeper set. They've got Wan-Bissaka, who's young on the right. Brandon Williams is doing really well. He's young. Do you know what I mean? They've got players, and they've got a squad. They just need 1 or 2 extra bits, and then they're there, I believe. It's funny, I actually think Man United's squad is better than Liverpool's squad. It's just in terms of their first team.
Oh,
It is.
I don't know.
It is. Liverpool squad is not great.
Okay, but listen, we're bringing. Okay, McTominay and Fred aren't bad.
McTominay.
But the options, especially in a creative position, Lingard, Pereira, Mata.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean
Lingard.
But Mata is obviously past his peak.
Way past it.
Pereira needs to go. But you're looking at these players and you think, how long are they going to be at Man United for real? Really?
Yeah, but
Man United will get rid of them. They'll shift them and get in some other players.
Minamino, Shaqiri, and Origi are better than Mata, Lingard, and Pereira.
Yeah, okay. But then...
look
at Liverpool's midfield. Liverpool's midfield.
I mean, like, Devil might be onto something.
I think Man United's squad is better than Liverpool's squad.
Liverpool's first team is so good, we just forget that. Okay, when you know, and I'm bringing in Shaqiri and Harry Wilson and what's it called, Lovren, you're like, okay.
So yeah, I just think Liverpool will struggle. They'll have a little bit of the Tottenham problem where Tottenham couldn't sign players because they knew they weren't going to get in the first team. I think Liverpool might have that same issue because the first team is so set in stone that you're not going to want to go and sit on the bench. And that could see them struggle. Whereas I think United, people will go there knowing that there's places up for grabs in certain positions. I mean, you're not going to get in there and play about in front of Bruno or Pogba, but you know they need someone else in there. Do you know what I mean? You know Maguire's probably going to play, but they're going to need someone else to go next to him. So there's positions where you can get top players to cement their places. I think that's the difference.
I hear that.
All right. Last two questions from Glout Ferauci. Why do people say Man United is the biggest club in England? Liverpool have more trophies than them, and the biggest trophy is the UCL. Liverpool have 6. You see, whenever people say this stuff, I say, in terms of what?
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying in terms of purely football, okay, you might say Liverpool. But if it's in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch, it's Man United. You know, Man United is, as a brand, is one of the biggest brands in football. You know, you can make it argue that just in terms of a footballing brand, in terms of how many people support them, how popular they are, their global outreach, how recognizable the brand is beyond just England, you could argue that Man United is one of the biggest brands in football. So in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch, United are bigger. But if it's just purely football and so forth, okay, then you can definitely say Liverpool if you match their domestic titles and the European titles. So you have to qualify.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's Liverpool were successful before the Premier League era. Once the Premier League came in and all eyes were on English football, Man United were dominant. And therefore, they became the biggest club in England because as far as everyone was aware and what they could see, this team were the best team in England. So where Liverpool amassed a lot of those league titles before the Premier League came about, Man United went and won, I can't even remember how many, was it 13 in that time? So something stupid like that since the Premier League came about. 13 league titles in that span. That's why they're the biggest club in England and one of the biggest clubs in the world, because that's what everyone has seen. You know, Liverpool were doing their things in 1970 and 1980s when those times there, no one could watch. You had 3 channels on TV. You know what I mean? So it's a completely different ballgame in terms of when you're talking biggest club. It's not just footballing achievements. Of course, that is a massive part of it, but it's also about reach worldwide and reputation. And Man United have a bigger reputation than anyone in this country. And
to add on to, I agree with everything what you just said. But to add on to that, even on a footballing level, I mean, stats can be manipulated, and it's very, very, very funny.
There you go. So you're trying to cook the stats now. You're trying to cook the stats.
It's very funny how 44 and 43 is the number he wants to go by. What are those 44? That is what I want to know. And you know what? I do know because I've been here before. They include one-off trophies, things that don't actually have a competition, but it's one-off trophy, which is fine. You include a Super Cup, because a European Super Cup, that is, a one-off trophy. Cool. You included the Milk Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever you want to call it, Worthington Cup. That's what we grew up on. That's fine. You want to include that. But if you want to include one-off trophies and minor trophies remember, England are this season, at the end of this season, will be the only European league with 2 domestic trophies. The League Cup is a nonsense competition. Cool. Include all of them. Include everything. And if you do that, you realize that Man United have more. You just do it. You go onto your local sites, whatever you do, and just you add them up, and you'll see that Man United have more. But of course, they take away the ones that would put Man United above Liverpool. So even on a footballing level, if you want to go just by titles won, then Man United are still above. But you know, I don't need to fight that thing.
Okay. Cooking the stats. Thank you for that cue in the DSI. So our final question. We have a mystery admirer. No name. Who could it be? If you had to, did anyone? Quick side question: in school, did you ever get sent a mysterious admirer letter from a girl? And did you ever find out who that girl was? Side thing for the live chat. I did. She was from the South, American, but I think something happened. I don't know why it didn't materialize. Long story. Long story.
That one hurt you, boy. That one hurt
she was all right, man. Bobby, look, long story. If you had to create a WWF style wrestling faction made up of current Premier League managers, including one enforcer, big guy, I know who that is, one young up and comer, and one old wily veteran. Which managers? Okay,
so you have to pick. So you have to pick three: one big guy, one young up and comer, and one wily veteran.
And these are only managers.
Yeah.
So obviously,
we're talking about fighting here. We're talking about fighting.
So okay, so we see
wrestling.
So Mourinho is obviously the veteran that I would pick. Up and comer, I would say Nagelsmann. And as far as an enforcer, I would pick Nuno Espirito Santo. That guy looks like if he can beat the crap out of someone. So Nuno Espirito Santo because that guy looks like if he can get.
No, it's Premier League, no Nagelsmann.
Also, only Premier League. So okay. Well, look, even if he may be out of here, since he's still here, I'll say Eddie Howe, up and comer Mourinho, the veteran, and Nuno Espirito Santo, the veteran. Keep in mind that Santo and Mourinho are both Portuguese, so they have the whole Portuguese blood just to tighten up the whole thing, so they can sort of like strengthen the blood of thing. And basically, Pep shouldn't be mentioned in this whole thing, because I mean, where does Pep fit here?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm definitely going Sean Dice.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely Sean Dice.
Yeah, what that dude?
100% Sean Dice. Go back again. Let me see the. You know what? Wily old veteran. I'm going Ancelotti. Now listen, call me what you want, ban me off the channel, but he has a Godfather look to him.
No, but this isn't this only Premier League.
Ancelotti, he's at Everton.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Oh yeah.
Ancelotti gets stuff done. Man will just say, you know what? That man needs to sleep with the fishes. Listen, get the garrote wire. Look at Italian style execution. Like, listen, Ancelotti he's a wily old fox. He's a wily old. He's been there. Man said, leave the gun, take the cannoli. I can see it already. Young up and comer. That's a tough one. Come back to me on that one.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going. Enforcer has to be Sean Dyche. Has to be. There's no other answer. Sean Dyche looks like he's a bouncer. In terms of wily old veteran, part of me wants to say Steve Bruce, because if you've had a broken nose for that long and you ain't fixed it, it means you're ready for a scrap at any time. You just know at some point scrap's gonna come, your nose is gonna get broke again. So what's the point? So I'm gonna say Steve Bruce, and up and comer Daniel Farker, the Norwich manager, because he looks like a Bond villain.
True. No, that guy looks like a villain. That guy looks like a villain.
He's kidnapped a couple people and he's got secret buttons in places, so just in case anything goes off, you know who it is. That's my fight. Sean Dyche, Daniel Farker, and Steve Bruce.
So next,
I'm gonna cheat. Sorry, I'm gonna pick an assistant manager. I'm gonna go with John Terry as a young up and comer, because
oh my god,
John Terry he's a scumbag. He was dude, like he's on the back, or grab you by the balls or something like He can't be trusted. John Terry cannot be trusted. So I would want him on my team. I would want him on my team. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with John Terry.
Yeah, you might get some insults thrown your way.
I
But you
might.
have to.
Winning is what
You
I
might
like.
have to contact HR a few times.
Okay, so so before we roll off, let's just take this super chat that I missed. Femi, which is so Amateur Critics said that where do Devil and Knicks rank R9 currently? So currently, where do you guys rank R9?
R9. I mean, amongst all footballing legends that we're talking about.
Yeah, just like in
Third.
terms of history.
Third,
Behind
Messi and Ronaldo.
Ugh.
Messi and Cristiano.
Knicks.
Yeah, there has to be.
In terms of greatest, 6th. Greatest.
So who are the other 5?
Wait, in terms of greatest, 6th.
Who are the other 5?
Wait! So I know you like to repeat yourself. I don't want you to have to watch the whole playback to catch the end of the show. In terms of greatest, 6th. In terms of best, 2nd. So in terms of the greatest, my 6th, putting the 5 above him, well, I don't care whatever order you want to put it. Pele, Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo, and Zidane. In terms of greatest. Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way. In terms of best, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, R9.
Wow. Okay, so just for the audience, you're saying that in terms of quality, you're putting R9 ahead of Messi, Cristiano, Pele, Zidane, Maradona.
Correct.
Okay. So before we round off, because we've got maybe about 7 minutes or so. So where do you guys stand with AFTV? Because I think with all this thing that has been going through and so forth, I was having a back and forth with the Arsenal fans, and there seems to be a thing of like among some Arsenal fans who say, "Man, I can't wait until AFTV to get taken down. AFTV is horrible as this." And I just said, "Wait, guys, if you don't like it, don't watch it." And guys said, "Oh no, Arsenal have obviously disassociated themselves with AFTV. AFTV is not Arsenal Football Club. They're totally different. That's why they had to change their name." And I said, okay, cool. That's cool. But it's like at the same time, there's still a channel that shows you some views from Arsenal fans. One of my best friends from school, huge Arsenal fan, he hates AFTV, but he just doesn't view it. He just says that, okay, it's annoying, he doesn't like it, but he just doesn't view it. And he just keeps it moving because he just doesn't want to view it. So, because my thing about it is that I don't understand, maybe you guys have a different view. I don't understand people's hate. And I don't understand how Arsenal fans, whenever things are going badly, they look at AFTV and they now sort of put their targets on them. Because this is what I always say. After every game, he interviews about 10, 12 people. It's not his fault that 2 or 3 are the ones that go viral. But he interviews other guys that that maybe are not as charismatic, they're not as loud, they're not as funny, and so forth. But they still give their views. So it would be interesting if, let's say, he only interviewed Troops, DT, Ty, and Claude, only those guys after every single game. But no, he did interviews 10, 11 guys. But the guys that gain traction are obviously the more charismatic ones that then say, no, AFTV isn't just those 3. It is whoever wants to talk, you have time, get onto it. So, and I don't get what's, especially from Arsenal fans, what the issue is. So let me come to Devil with this. Where do you stand with AFTV? And specifically, do you think AFTV is somehow problematic to Arsenal Football Club?
Firstly, I've never watched AFTV and I never will.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I've never watched it in my life.
No. Look, it's like my friend. My friend has never watched it. I hate it.
Never once, not once in my life.
You've seen clips?
I've seen clips. I've seen clips, but I've never gone on to AFTV and watched any of their content. And each to their own. Some people love it. For me, it's not. I don't really care. Everyone has their own voice as a fan, and I think what Robbie's done is very good in terms of he created a platform and he's been very successful with it for Arsenal fans to voice their opinions. As HH said, he found some people who have charisma and they've created these personas which have been very successful. You can't blame any of them for that. You can't put a microphone in front of someone's mouth and once they say something that goes viral, cuss them for that. They didn't say anything wrong. They were just giving their opinions. Some of it's over the top. Is some of it done because they know they're going to get views? Of course. It's YouTube. That's what you're doing it for. You're not going to make the content so no one watches it. You're going to make the content in a way that it's going to be easily accessible for people to watch, whether that's good or bad. My thing is this. If you have a problem with AFTV, don't watch it. If you have a problem with them being so popular, stop giving them views. At the end of the day, that's it. But you can't say that they are, they're impacting the club in a negative way because they have nothing to do with the club. It's just a bunch of people talking football. I think where the problem lies is that Arsenal fans all get put in the same bracket. So when people start saying Arsenal fans are this, Arsenal fans are that, generally they're talking about the AFTV lot. But at the end of the day, how much impact is that going to have on anyone's lives? So what? People think Arsenal fans are stupid because they have these opinions. Well, I don't share those opinions. That's cool.
Yeah,
How much is that going to impact your life?
No.
I mean, I do it a lot where I say Liverpool fans are this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not one of them, you're probably not going to sit there and go, you know what? No, you're taking the piss, blah, blah, blah. Because it don't affect you. You know what I mean? So you're not going to get, there's no point in even getting upset about it. So when people say what they want to say about AFTV, it doesn't affect me because I don't share those views.
Yeah, I think for me, it's as Daniel said, it's YouTube, isn't it? You have to make the content. Whatever you're doing, it has to be engaging, it has to be entertaining, it has to draw people. So whatever it is, you can't just be like, well, I'm gonna tone everything down because I don't want to give a bad name. But no, if you did that, then don't create a YouTube channel. Because why are people gonna tune in? That's the first thing. And that's what YouTube's about. Now, AFTV, these are Arsenal fans. Now, every Arsenal fan doesn't think the same. So just because there's a group of Arsenal fans, and even on AFTV, everyone there don't think the same. You can literally go from one extreme to the next. You can go for it's time to go to Wenger in all day, every day. I'm talking about Claude and Ty, like literally polar opposites. And then you have many people in between, Turkish, Lee Gunner, Lee Judges. There's a lot of different views, different characters, different opinions that some Arsenal fans would agree with and some won't. So you would agree. So I know people like, yeah, you know what? I only watch AFTV for Lee Judges. That speaks to me. He's real. I only watch AFTV for Kalechi, for example. I like, and whatever it may be. But the reality is, man are just doing their thing, and people don't like to see success. That's what it is. That's what it is. And people think that they set up this, or Robbie set up this channel to breed or feed into the negativity. But all it is that when Arsenal lose, rival fans go and watch it. I only watch AFTV when Arsenal lose.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. I don't want Arsenal to win. So I'm not going there to see them smiling and happy. No, I'm going to see when you're upset. That's what football fans do. So they may get most of their views. They may. I haven't followed their analytics, but they may get most of their views when rival fans, when they lose, because rival fans are watching, not because the channel is a hub for negativity. It's just that fans outside would go and watch it, as well as the normal Arsenal fans who watch it.
No, just real quick. What's it called? I had 200 likes. 200 likes when Sheffield United lubricated Chelsea. I said, wait a minute. How come I didn't receive these amounts of likes when Chelsea won or when Chelsea are doing well? Why is it that you're giving me 200 likes when Sheffield United gave a full-on lubricate? And as Nick said, people, which is tells us about the human nature, people love negativity. People love to see people suffer.
Of course. That's why if someone's angry and they put something on Twitter, that will get so many thousands of retweets, etc., etc. Or someone doing a bit of some character, like I saw is it Edge or whatever his name is in your chat in the comments. Man goes, Meeks is a cheat and I hope you get relegated. It's Ty. When Ty is whiling at Malpay for cheating, so to speak, and Arsenal losing the game. But people like to see someone angry. People like to see, that's not. So who do you look at? Do you look at the consumers who are the ones who are actually breeding this negativity? Or do you look at the people who are actually genuinely angry? Maybe you can look at yourself. If you're that got that much of an issue with AFTV, maybe look at yourself or those consuming it, as opposed to those who are putting out genuine content about how they feel.
Guys, that has been all for us here on this beautiful thing on Thursday Q&A. So we'll see you guys on Monday. On Monday, we'll know something. Basically, on Monday, we'll know who will be taking place in the FA Cup final. And on Monday, we'll definitely know who has won the La Liga. And whilst the Serie A will still be going and so forth. And I hope that if Chelsea do that, Knicks will. Basically, Knicks, you are invited to the stream if Chelsea win. You are not invited if Man United win. That's how it goes.
I'm doing my own stream after both FA Cup semis. So,
bro, please, if Chelsea win, invite me to that stream.
Yeah, and if Arsenal win, then I'll come on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll come on. That
no, please send me the invite. Okay, guys, peace out. Stay true, stay real, and we'll see you guys on Monday at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. Well, we'll see. Depending on what matters, we'll see you on Monday. Peace.
Peace.